To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas.
Here's a wild ride in the woods.
When industry doors change.
So, Brian, have you seen these new Spirit jerseys that have dropped with that have Cinderella's castle on the back?
I have. Those things look awesome.
They're pretty sweet.
They're very popular, aren't they?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Kristen has been trying to get her hands on one because I think she's going to want to wear that at Magic Kingdom. And she has not been successful as of late.
Oh, no. I saw it pop up in a Facebook ad for Shop Disney, so it sounds like she needs a personal shopper.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But yeah, they definitely dropped online, and she said that they were sold out by the time she was able to get online and look at them. But if you have any of your friends that are going to the parks, they can get their hands on them. You should let me know.
Listeners, if you hear what Mikhailo just said, he needs a hookup.
Please help us out. And it's because we have the 50th Spirit jersey, and I want to wear that to Magic Kingdom, and she wants to wear the Cinderella's Castle Spirit jersey. So I think that would be pretty cool. I think we'd look pretty hip.
Isn't the castle one also a 50th, or is that?
I think it is. Yeah, it's like part of the 50th. I don't know if it says the 50th anywhere.
I don't know.
This is why we need her on the podcast so she can talk about all of her merch stuff.
That'd be great. I just wanted to mention we went down to the Chicago area over the weekend, and we were in Schaumburg, for those of you that are familiar with that area, in the Woodfield Mall. First of all, it felt like the 90s because that place was packed. And around here, malls don't have people in them anymore. So it was interesting. But the fun part for me was that Uniqlo was there, or is there. And I pointed it out to my wife, and she goes, "Oh, they got a bunch of Disney stuff." Well, for those of you that are going, what the heck is Uniqlo? It's a store that's in Disney Springs. It's like across from World of Disney. And they have tons of t-shirts with Mickey Mouse, really cool Mickey Mouse designs and other characters for cheap. Like, I'm talking like less than $10 for a t-shirt. And so we were immediately going to look and see what they had. And we found like 2 or 3 designs of a sweatshirt. And I think the sweatshirt was maybe $39. But I didn't buy one. They only had like smalls and mediums at the time. So I didn't get one. But that was exciting that we got to kind of visit Disney while we're not visiting Disney.
Well, that's cool. And I know I've been looking for some park shirts, like Disney shirts that I can wear in the parks. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I used to be of the mind that you can't wear Disney stuff at the parks, kind of like like when you go see a band. You don't want to be wearing a band t-shirt of the band you're seeing. You want to wear a t-shirt of the band that's like the same vein, like the same genre of that band. But I kind of don't care anymore. I'm just gonna wear Disney stuff to Disney because I like Disney. But so I've been kind of like looking online, and Amazon has the one that I know for sure I'm probably going to buy says Rusty's. It's like cars, and it's like the Rusty's logo. I think that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, really cool. I've been looking for decent t-shirts here and there, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, today we are going to have another park battle for you. If you haven't been listening, and if you haven't been listening to us whenever we do any of these, This is we're doing parks going head to head, and we kind of decide who wins. And we have some criteria here for you, and we'll go over that again. We have layout, dining, theming, entertainment, and rides. And the two parks that are going head to head are Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. And I'd have to say these are two big juggernauts, but they're juggernauts for completely different reasons. So this should be a pretty interesting one.
Definitely. I love doing these park battles because we just get to chat about what we love about these parks and decide which one's better, which is always difficult for me. It's like choosing my favorite child. And I don't know, it gives me a chance to break it down and find something better about one or the other. So, I always enjoy this. We're miles from Main Street. We don't get to be there and all the time. And when we did get to talk about stuff like this, it definitely gives us a chance to think about being there. And what better way than to revisit our experiences there and I guess compare them head to head.
Yeah, and Brian, to help out with that favorite child thing, it's definitely Mia. I'd have to say.
Mia. Okay, well, Kylo's on record.
Anyways, so let's jump into it. We've got layout. I have some strong feelings on this first one, and I'll tell you why. It's because one park has some pretty great layout, and the other park has some pretty junky layout. And I'm sure you can guess if you've been listening to these so far, but just Hollywood Studios is a hot mess when it comes to layout. And Magic Kingdom's layout is like almost perfect, just in the way that it's been made with that hub and spoke. But we'll just kind of talk through these two parks layout and kind of explain why. Hollywood Studios, like we've mentioned before, seems like it was just kind of like everything was pushed together. There's lots of random stops and like bottleneck areas. So it's sometimes it can be tough to navigate and tough to like kind of understand where you are and where you're going. So that's kind of what Hollywood Studios has going against it. And I mean, it's hard to say because it's so, I just feel like right now it's getting a lot better. But for so long they were just kind of putting band-aids on it where they would just kind of like, oh, like here's Toy Story Land, that's so much better. And then here's Batuu, here's Star Wars Land, that's so much better. Not that these were bad or that like it was just kind of like thrown in there, but it's definitely kind of, it was more of like a band-aid to what that park eventually will be. It's definitely not done. I feel like they're going to overhaul a lot more to that park. They've just kind of, they've finished Star Wars Land and now a lot of their attention is going towards Epcot. So, I just feel like right now it's still kind of like in a state of disarray where like it's really not what the park used to be anymore. And when it first came out, it actually made a lot more sense. And then they made it's not Hollywood Boulevard, it's Sunset Boulevard. Then they made Sunset Boulevard, which at the end of Sunset Boulevard is two of Disney's best attractions. So you can't really fault that. And Sunset Boulevard definitely feels more like Main Street than the I think Hollywood Boulevard feels like Main Street. But then you have to kind of like make your way through this whole maze, and then in the back you've got Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land, which both those areas make a lot of sense. But it just kind of felt like wherever they had space, they were putting stuff. So that's kind of what Hollywood Studios has going on. And it's kind of hard to And it's hard to make it all work without just like completely starting over, which they can't do. But then you've got Magic Kingdom, which is a hub and spoke park, and it just makes so much sense. This type of park was invented by Walt Disney, who was praised for his work in urban planning. So it makes a lot of sense that Magic Kingdom would be so great in that way.
You know my feelings about the hub and spoke. It's hard for me to go against it. It's, like as you said, it's tried and true. It's been lauded to be one of the best designs that a park can have. And it wasn't perfect when it was first made. There wasn't that spoke as often as there is now. So you might go into Tomorrowland and you have to walk kind of a ways around to get back out. It didn't start as we know of it now. When it first started, it had all the spokes out of the hub, but it didn't connect with like land to land. So you had to go into a land, out of the land, into the land, out of the land. And it got confusing at times, but I just want to go over there. Like if you were in Tomorrowland, you wanted to get over to Storybook Circus, there wouldn't be a walkway between those. You'd have to go back to the hub and then go over to Storybook Circus. And it got a little confusing to people. And that's when they started connecting the lands so that you can make the big circle that we've talked about in the past. Sunset Boulevard feels like that, like the one spoke that you have to go down and come back out. But other than that, I think Hollywood Studios is built a lot like Animal Kingdom. It's the same kind of concept where you walk in to your hub, the Tree of Life or the Chinese Theater, and then you take a left or a right and you make a big circle. You don't really get a chance to get out. I would like to see them at Ministaberg connect that into, I imagine that's going to go into Star Wars Land right there. I haven't actually mapped it out, but I would like to see that become a pass-through at some point. Only because you're kind of stuck back there. It's either walk from Toy Story or from Star Wars Land into Toy Story Land to get out, or vice versa. If you're in Toy Story Land, you got to kind of go through Star Wars Land to get over to the Muppet Courtyard. So it would be nice to see another exit out of that circle, and I think that would be the most logical area. But it's a design that's been done. We've seen, and obviously this part of it that I'm talking about, this is done after Animal Kingdom. So I think they may have looked at it and said, we can do this. We can make this work. I wish I had a map right now in front of me of the old Disney MGM as it used to be, because I don't recall it being a big circle. But I can't tell you how it used to be. I don't remember. So to that end, I'm going to go with the Magic Kingdom hub and spoke, just because it's so iconic and so tried and true, and you can get where you want to go easily and quickly without having to go through another land if you don't want to. And there's a lot of different points that you can cut across and get to different areas, without having to make that big circle.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with you. So round one of layout goes to Magic Kingdom. Now, round two, I do find interesting. Round two is dining. And I've definitely never really thought of Magic Kingdom has some amazing dining. but like it's not really known for like having a lot of places to go that has like really great dining. And kind of the same thing with Hollywood Studios, where I mean, there's a couple pretty nice places to go, but it just is not a park that like is really known for their dining. Um, so this one was a little tough, but I definitely would think that I feel like I have to give this to Magic Kingdom solely on the fact that one of my favorite dining experiences is there, and that's Be Our Guest. Honestly, if Hollywood Studios had like one more spot, like one more like great like big dining experience, kind of like Be Our Guest, it would. I mean, it'd be a lot tougher to make this decision, because they'd be pretty much neck and neck. And I feel like when Star Wars Land came out, I was looking for that. Like I was looking for that really, really fun, really crazy, like really nice dining experience for Star Wars. And there really isn't one. There isn't like a sit down, like reservation only dining experience that like puts you like on a space shuttle or something like that. Like I always thought that would be cool, and it makes sense because like you don't really, other than blue milk and stuff like that, you just never really saw dining happening in Star Wars. It's just not like a big part of the canon, I guess. But I definitely felt like that was like kind of a missed opportunity. That there could have been, like, there was this big addition happening and everybody was going to love this place almost no matter what, because it was Star Wars, and they didn't have some amazing sit down restaurant to go to that can like blow your socks off. They have Oga's, but I mean, that's just drinks, and it makes sense because it's a cantina, and they had plenty of cantinas in Star Wars, so that makes a lot of sense. But there really isn't anything else. Now I know that Toy Story Land is getting a sit down restaurant at some point, so that might be kind of cool. And there is the Brown Derby, but I don't know. The Brown Derby isn't enough for me to say like oh, this experience, like this is up there with Beauty and the Beast. It's probably the nicest place to go eat in that park, but still, like, it's just not like the type of experience that you would think that would be in a Disney park, with all of these other parks having these amazing experiences that you can go to. And with dining, I just feel like Hollywood Studios doesn't have that, and it could have with Star Wars. Like, that would have been so cool. But I would definitely give it to Magic Kingdom. I mean, solely on Be Our Guest. Everything else is kind of neck and neck with Hollywood Studios. You've got Skipper Canteen, which is pretty great, and it's almost kind of like a hidden gem, because like I feel like not a lot of people know about that place. But that's like another pretty great place. You've got all these other like little places to go at Disney or at Magic Kingdom, but I don't know. I just feel like the dining experience you get at Magic Kingdom with Be Our Guest being like the cornerstone of that, Hollywood Studios just doesn't match up quite.
I'll see your Be Our Guest. The Cinderella's Castle. I've done the Be Our Guest for breakfast, and I haven't done the dinner experience like you have, but we really enjoyed the meal at Cinderella's Castle. It was the best meal we had that week. And this is 5 years ago now, that we had done that trip. But that it as it may. The dining, as you said, at Hollywood Studios is they do have some great places. I can think of Sci-Fi Diner as a very popular place, and also Primetime 50s Primetime Diner. They're both very popular places. I don't know that the food holds up against a Cinderella's Castle or a Be Our Guest. Hollywood Brown Derby may, but now you're still 2-1, right? I'm having trouble making a decision here. Who would really be better? But if you take the two signatures versus the one, you're going to give a notch to the Magic Kingdom. So I said, well, what if I throw that out? Let's not talk about the sit-down dining. Let's talk about the rest of it. ABC Commissary has upped its game as of late. I really enjoyed Woody's Lunchbox. I know some people out there don't, but I did enjoy it. And who's to say that Aranto Wrap's bad? I mean, that's great stuff. That's great stuff there, right? I have not eaten at Dockside Bay 7, whatever the heck it is. The Bay, what is it?
Docking Bay 7.
Yeah, that thing. I'm sorry. And I call myself a Star Wars fan. I have not eaten there. I did grab a glass of water in there, but I didn't eat anything. I don't know. I'm having trouble with the whole, what does food taste like in space? And apparently it's all spicy. So anyway, if you look at the quick service dining, I kind of lean towards Hollywood Studios because of ABC Commissary and because Star Wars is kind of giving us a little extra. I mean, and Woody's Lunchbox. But then you look at snacks, right? The snacks game is really high with Magic Kingdom. I think Hollywood Studios is trying to keep up. They have a lot of specialty snacks at a lot of times, but not yet. They just don't have what they have at Magic Kingdom. So if I break it down that way, I'm going Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I didn't even take snacks into account. I took what is that Cinderella's Castle? What is that dining experience called?
Cinderella's Royal Table.
Cinderella's Royal Table. I took that into account, and I guess it's kind of a me thing because it's a character dining experience. And I don't know, maybe it's just, it would be cool to kind of go up inside Cinderella's Castle, and it would be cool to have a character dining experience, which I don't think I ever. I think I did have one when I was very young. I seem to remember, but I don't know. Those things just don't really appeal to me, so I don't really see that meal as like one of those quintessential meals. However, a lot of other people do. So you're completely right. But just the snack game at Magic Kingdom, it's just insane. I feel like that they have a cupcake for like every week at Magic Kingdom. It's insane. And like not even just cupcakes. I mean, like all the way down to you could make a meal out of snacks. Like you can go grab a turkey leg. You can go grab some spring rolls, like just all of these like little things, and you can just make that an entire meal. So yeah, the snack game goes hard at Magic Kingdom. So and that was another thing that like I didn't even really think of when you think of dining. I always kind of think of like quick service and sit down meals and stuff like that. So that's kind of where my head always goes.
I believe the next one is theming. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going Hollywood Studios. And the reason for me is because of Star Wars and somewhat Toy Story Land. Toy Story Land was a very simple look, but they're really working at it. I feel like it's a little bit closer to the old theming of lands where you just kind of throw all the stuff out there and then design the land around whatever that theme is. So you look at like the things I'm thinking about. You go look at the circus area, Storybook Circus, and you've got peanuts in the concrete, right? You've got footprints of elephants and different things, and that's kind of the way that they started going after we got away from the simple Tomorrowland or Adventureland. Like, you didn't see the extra work that went into it, whereas Storybook Circus kind of started that, and then Toy Story Land takes that another step, right? Now they've said you've shrunk down to a size of a toy and you're in Andy's backyard, and everything there you can tell was created by Andy, whether it's a Tinker toy holding up a sign or a popsicle stick being used as a bench, right? Like, it's a little bit more theming. But then we got Avatar Land over in Animal Kingdom, and it had that more immersive feel to it. Like, you really felt like you left the planet, you went to a new planet, right? So you walk into Star Wars Land and you feel like you've left Hollywood Studios. You feel like you've gone to Batuu, and the ground has those peanuts in the form of a rolling R2-D2. And for those of you that don't know, they brought R2-D2 there and rolled him through the wet cement. So take a look on the ground. Like, as you go in from Muppet Courtyard, you're going to see those tracks start. And that's actually from the real R2-D2. So just something to think about as you're going through. But when you look at the side show type stuff, like the garage where Rey and Chewbacca hang out, it's just part of the story. Everything kind of fits in. When they first opened, the cast members wouldn't respond to "Where's the bathroom?" They'd say, "Are you talking about a refresher?" Now, that got very annoying to the guests quite quickly, and they've stopped doing that. But that was the type of immersion that they were going for. So if you look at Magic Kingdom, you have all these great lands that Walt Disney came up with. And they do kind of gel together here and there. I love the idea that as you go from left to right through the circle, you're also going through time, right? You start with Frontierland, then you go to Adventureland, and then you move into Liberty Square. You're kind of moving through the centuries. Obviously Fantasyland is just a fantasy, so whatever. But but that theming, when I'm in there, I still am saying I'm at Disney World. I'm not saying, oh, I just went on this wild train ride in the Frontier, right? Like, you don't think that way in Magic Kingdom, but I think that way in some of these lands at Hollywood Studios. So, as I said, long-windedly, Hollywood Studios for me.
Yeah, and I would agree. And I kind of have, whenever it comes to this theming category, I kind of have two rules of thought, where it's kind of, do you take each individual area themed, or do you try to think about like the park as a whole theme? And I feel like these are two really, really great contenders for that, where Hollywood Studios individually is themed just out of this world, literally out of this world. So the theming in these individual areas at Hollywood Studios is just amazing. However, the cohesive theme of Magic Kingdom is also very amazing. Just kind of like how that whole park is put together and how everything is themed. That also is very good. And even when it comes down to like each individual area. Now with Magic Kingdom, there are certain areas where like, okay, like why is there like Genie's lamp in the middle of this adventure land? Like everything's kind of like, some of it kind of seems shoehorned in. But it all kind of makes sense. Like it's easy mental gymnastics to be like, oh, okay, well, like they found a lamp here, so that like that's why this is here. But I just think that just the theming and what they've done with both Toy both Toy Story Land and Batu, it's just amazing. It's just on another level. And I talk about this often, but I'm going to bring it up again. You guys are probably sick of hearing it, but just all the way down to the speakers on top of buildings at Batu. I was there at night, and I was standing in one place for a long period of time, and all of a sudden I realized, holy crap, they've got the sound of speeders going over your head on top of buildings. Like I could hear and sometimes feel, because if they pump subwoofers into there, then like you'll be able to feel that. But you could just hear speeders going over your head from speakers on top of those buildings. So it's just that, like that level is insane. And not to go into a whole lot, but just the Disney company in general, their level of theming has always been really great. And I think it was like the Walt Disney 5 levels of theming or something like that. Like it was all the way down to like the doorknob. Like the doorknob felt old or something like that. And so that's kind of, they took that to the nth degree with Batu. So Disney's always been very good at it, but just the things that they've been able to do at Hollywood Studios. And the funny thing is, Brian, we haven't really talked about like the rest of the park and what's going on there, because kind of in certain areas, it just like doesn't really make sense. However, I do love Sunset Boulevard, just kind of how that feels like California as you're walking through and everything. So that's just another feather in that cap for that park, that just like everything was done so well and the immersion was so good. So yeah, I would completely agree with you, Hollywood Studios, on that one.
They would just get those Streetmosphere actors back. That was one of my favorite parts of Sunset Boulevard, walking down that, is just having those Streetmosphere actors come along and doing their little acts that they do and storytelling and all that.
Entertainment.
And speaking of Streetmosphere actors, the next, oh my God, what? Sorry.
You're having a rough night.
I am having a rough night. All right, so I said something about Streetmosphere actors. And speaking of Streetmosphere, that brings us to our next category, which is entertainment. And Mikhailo, I haven't got all my thoughts together yet, even though my notes all talk about it. This is one of them that I've gone back and forth, and maybe it's my bias to Magic Kingdom here that I'm starting to waffle a little bit, but why don't you go ahead with this one?
Well, this one's kind of hard, especially right now with COVID and how certain things have been shut down. Um, and I just feel like my gut has to say, I mean, and if we look at this as eventually these things will come back, my gut has to say Hollywood Studios, just because of, I mean, they've got the Beauty and the Beast stage show. Phantasmic is great. And I mean, technically those are fireworks, and I would put Magic Kingdom fireworks over Phantasmic 100%. But just the production of what Phantasmic is, I feel like is really amazing within itself. And it's kind of more of a production too, because there's several showings of it. But then, yeah, with everything else that's going on at Hollywood Studios, entertainment wise, there's little things here and there. There used to be that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show, but now it's Frozen. That's another really great show that's going on. So I definitely feel like show wise, the shows that are at Hollywood Studios are superior to the ones that are happening at Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom definitely has entertainment out there, but I feel like there was more of a conscious effort to put stage type entertainment into Hollywood Studios, and I think that goes along with like its original intent, where it was supposed to be kind of like working Hollywood, and Hollywood had shows like that back in the day, and so it definitely had that feel to it, so it lends itself a lot better towards stuff like that. And I mean, if we're talking about things that will most likely come back, I feel like eventually we'll get Streetmosphere people back, even if it's like maybe like twice a day, like somebody comes out in a car and does some kind of act. But just like and even we're talking about parades, I feel like I enjoy the parades a little bit more in Hollywood Studios. Like I'll actually stop and watch those, rather than Magic Kingdom. I know that's just complete blasphemy, because the parades at Magic Kingdom are just iconic, and they're meant to be viewed and enjoyed. But the parades that I've seen at Hollywood Studios, I feel like I very much enjoy. And if we want to talk about, if we want to do fireworks to fireworks, I do feel like sometimes the fireworks that happen at Hollywood Studios can rival Magic Kingdom, just because of all the stuff that's going on. I mean, I've seen some of those Star Wars Nights fireworks that they do, and those are really cool. And I mean, I know it snows in Magic Kingdom. I've never seen it, but just the snow that happens at Hollywood Studios, I really enjoyed that. And so I don't know. I just feel like there's a little more of an emphasis on entertainment in Hollywood Studios than Magic Kingdom. Now, most likely Brian's going to come in and tell me I'm completely wrong and list off all of the amazing entertainment that is happening at Magic Kingdom. But I guess we'll see.
Mikhailo, you are completely wrong. I used to think that Phantasmic was the best night show in any of the parks at Walt Disney World. The fireworks over the Chinese Theater, I have seen videos. I've not been able to experience them myself, but they do look great. The projections that they do are awesome. And if we're talking entertainment, I'm sorry, but for me, entertainment is live entertainment. Yeah, we've got some, we've got a movie. We had Alien Encounter and the Stitch Great Escape for a while there, which rivaled a live entertainment type of thing. but not quite. You know, and PhilharMagic is a movie. It's a movie. But if you look at the entertainment offerings, you have a dance party, you have a sing along, you have the Voyage of the Little Mermaid story, which is live actors. You have a movie in the Vacation Fun, I believe they call it, the Mickey and Minnie shorts. But then you've got two juggernauts, Beauty and the Beast and Indiana Jones, right? Oh, and forgive me, I forgot the movie with a live actor of Muppet Vision 3D. You know, it's when it comes to entertainment, you can throw out the fireworks, you can throw out the parades even, and you've still got a ton of live shows. You've still got live actors doing stuff on the streets, hopefully. And then you've got Fantasmic on top of it, right? I mean, like, you can count that separately from fireworks because of the production value and because they've got something that rivals, I guess, Enchantment, if you want to go that route right now. I mean, they've got it. So when you put the whole package together, I can't find live shows at Magic Kingdom like that. They've got a dance party with Stitch, I guess, here and there. I've never really done that. Yeah, it has to be Hollywood Studios here.
Nice. That was the one that I thought maybe we would be in disagreement.
Like I said, I do have a bias to Magic Kingdom because it's Walt's Park, and I don't like to go against it. But that's the fun part about these battles, is that it gives us a chance to break down pieces of it. Sure, it's still gonna, I'm still gonna have my favorites, but when you talk about entertainment, it's kind of glaring in this case.
Yeah, I would agree. And now moving on to our last category, and that is rides. And I mean, I feel like I can kind of see where this is going. For me, it's got to be Hollywood Studios. And I guess it's honestly for like the sheer fact that there are just so many great rides there. And so many like more relevant rides, I guess. Now, that's not taking away anything at all to the old school rides that Magic Kingdom have that, I mean, I love. I love Haunted Mansion. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I love these rides. Splash Mountain. These are great rides, and they can rival some new rides that Disney comes out with. But just the sheer number of just like home runs that Hollywood Studios has. Let's just go down the list. And Brian, you can probably help me. Tower of Terror, which is my favorite ride at Disney World. Rock and Roller Coaster. Both of those are right in that corner. And then we can jump over to Slinky Dog Dash, another great ride. And then we've got Rise of the Resistance. We've got Smuggler's Run, probably two of the best rides, just like right there. What else is there?
Yeah, Star Tours.
I would consider that.
I mean, if you're gonna just list all of them, but I mean, we could do that. It wasn't that long ago that Toy Story Mania was the top ride in all of the resort.
Yeah. And now it didn't even make the list that we just made.
Right. I mean,
wow.
I remember it being like 5 years ago 5 years ago, we were there, and that was the ride we were trying to rope drop. And they gave us, because I wanted to get the kids signed up for the Jedi training, they gave us a fast pass that I used on that, which was well worth it. So, that was the ride that you had to rope drop. You had to plan around. Now they've got what, 3 more rides above that that you have to plan around. I mean, and when we're talking about the rides between these two parks, for me, you've got classic rides with some thrill, or you've got thrill rides that are just awesome. I wanted to use the word classic in there somehow, but that didn't work. So, you've got your classic, I guess, with Mickey and Minnie's, but even that's thrilling. Like, you're constantly doing things. There's so much going on, right? Like, that's what I love about that ride, is that there isn't this big drop. There isn't this big moment. There isn't like all of this craziness to get your heart going and stuff, but there's just so much going on that you love it. You just have so much fun, and it works as a thrill ride type of ride, right? So how do you pick between the two when you've got apples and oranges? To me, and Mikhail's losing it now. Like, he's already, yeah, I'm sorry, man. You've already written it in stone. You said Hollywood Studios. But at least I think you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. But, it's hard because when you look at Magic Kingdom and, when I'm helping people plan, how old are your kids? Okay. I'm helping a family with 3 kids. Their oldest kid is 9. And I'm not telling them to go to Hollywood Studios because there's not enough there, especially for their 3-year-old. There's not enough there. You can take them to all the shows until you're blue in the face if you want, but they're not going to know the Muppets. They're probably going to enjoy Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid and Frozen. You can't take them on Slinky Dog. You can take them on Alien Swirling Saucers, but, I mean, don't fall asleep while you're in it. Like, that's kind of what's happening with that park, is it's either go big or go home, or, find what keeps you busy there. Whereas that age of kids are going to have a great time at Magic Kingdom. There's just plenty to do for everyone there. So it's hard to decide. What's our criteria this time around? We seem to, bounce it around sometimes. I'm going to give it to Magic Kingdom. More variety.
So you're for rides, you're going with Magic Kingdom?
Yeah. And I know, like, we've got Rise of the Resistance. We've got all the big names over there. Mm-hmm. But that 3-year-old can't ride them. And that 3-year-old does not have enough to do there.
Yeah. So this opens up another can of worms where it's like, do you take that into account? And I feel like these two. So I feel like I understand where you're coming from, saying Magic Kingdom, because it's got those classic rides and it's also got some updated rides. 100%. It definitely has some of those big juggernaut rides that are new. I don't think they rival Rise of the Resistance at all. That's just, my personal opinion. But that's the thing, is that you've got your park that has these classic, amazing rides, and then you've got your park that has all of these new, flashy, fun rides that are very relevant. So and it's hard. It's difficult. I definitely would say Hollywood Studios, just because of just how amazing some of these new rides are. But at the same time, I can completely see why somebody would say Magic Kingdom, because it has kind of it does have everything that you would want in a park, where you've got the thrill rides, and then you've got these classic dark rides, and you've got everything kind of for the whole family. I just think that I just couldn't put Magic Kingdom in the rides category just because of what's at Hollywood Studios. And maybe that's like a personal thing. Maybe, I mean, I do enjoy the thrill rides a lot more, but I do enjoy those classic dark rides. I would have to say my two favorite rides are Tower of Terror, thrill ride, and Haunted Mansion dark ride. I definitely lean more towards Tower of Terror, so you can see why I'm voting the way I am. But that's the thing, is like I would say that those are my two favorite rides. But I guess it's I can completely see why you would go each way. And so now, Brian, that brings us to a tie. I think we're at, I believe it's 5-5. Yes. It is 5-5, Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. So I honestly can't remember what our tiebreaker was, because I think we've had a tie before. I can't remember how we decided the tiebreaker.
Was it the question? I have a ticket for Hollywood Studios and I have a ticket for Magic Kingdom. Which one do you want?
That's kind of what I was thinking. I think that's how we've done it before. Wait a minute. So we have our tiebreaker. I called up my brother Andre, and we've given him the task of deciding which park he would rather go to, and that's going to be the tiebreaker. So here is Andre explaining himself.
All right, so this is a tough one, but I definitely would have to go with Hollywood Studios. And I would probably say that because it, first of all, has my favorite ride out of all the parks, which is Rock and Roller Coaster. And I think with the new Star Wars area opening up, it's just kind of become one of those like coolest parks, and probably like my favorite park just in general to go to. So yeah, it's just like all the rides, a lot of fun things like that. So that would definitely be the park that I would choose.
Well, Andre, I don't think I told you this in our brief conversation before bringing you on, but that's the one that I chose. So brothers are in agreement.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I bet we could have. We were trying to get Luke on the line to see if he could answer. And honestly, I feel like Luke might say Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's such a toss-up between those two because they're just like two of like some of the most iconic parks with like such cool things about them.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thank you, Andre, for being our tiebreaker tonight.
Of course, I got you guys.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you go.
Sounds good. See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Andre, for that. I don't know how I leaned. I guess for that 3-year-old, I'm leaning towards Magic Kingdom. But, we went with this, you get a ticket, where you going? And Andre helped us out. So Hollywood Studios. Guys, I want to know what you're thinking, though, because this was a tough one. I want votes out there. I want to know. Let's figure this out. Which one is better? Come on out to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Let us know which park you would choose. Given a ticket for a day, No park reservation deals, nothing like that. You can just go in and have fun. Which one is it? We are at Miles Podcast on Twitter and at Miles from Main Street on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Be great to have you guys out there letting us know which park you would be picking.
Yeah, and keep the conversation going. Don't only just tell us which park you pick, tell us why. And we can get lots of fun, creative answers here, and keep the conversation going, because we are Miles from Main Street, and this is how we cope with being away from Disney.
Absolutely. And another way that we cope is talking to you about your trip. If you're going on a trip and you want to talk to us about it, let us know what adventures you got to go on. We would love to have you on the show. Reach out through the email, which is milesfrommainstreetpodcast@gmail.com. Just give us a line there, or, message us through any of the social accounts, and let us know you want to come on and talk about it. We'll talk to you a little bit about your trip and find out, if it would work out to have you on, and it would be great to talk to you guys and hear about your trips.
Yeah, and a big apologies to Tim Tracker. We just did not have enough time tonight to bring you on and interview you, but possibly next time. But
What?
That's the Jimmy Kimmel joke where only we like Tim Tracker, but that's the funny thing. Anyways, that's all we got for you guys tonight. We will see you next time on Miles from Main Street.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please rate us on iTunes and subscribe. Email us at milesfrommainstreetpodcast@gmail.com with any thoughts, and visit us on Facebook under Miles from Main Street. We'll be bringing more to you weekly and look forward to talking to you then.
Until next week, remember,
Some live close,
but most of us don't.
so let's talk about it.